Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dakman Productions podcast number 2, and also welcome to Chaos on Kinda Hey Rail. So this is sort of like a two-part or twofold uh, video or podcast I want to do. Basically, what I wanted to talk about first is, as everybody knows, I made my first podcast about 3 or 4 months ago, explaining the history and how I got into the hobby. And that video was pretty well received. I got a lot of comments uh, when I go to train shows and club meets and stuff like that. But a lot of the comments I get when I meet people in person, I notice that people like to talk to the person, the YouTuber or the YouTube creator in person. It seems like I get more comments from people by meeting them than I do on my YouTube channel. So I think it's people get more personal as far as when they see your video and they meet you and they know who you are now, and it sort of makes I think a better relationship between the YouTube creator and the audience. So that seems to be working out. But anyway, I had people come up to me and say, I love your videos, and I joined a club because of your video, or I joined or I go to train meets, or I go to this train show now because of your videos, and that's so positive to hear that the videos that I create are actually getting people interested in the model train hobby, which is important for it to survive. I felt as though, when they tell me these that I'm doing something great, and it makes me feel good that people are tuning in or they're actually getting interested in model trains, because let's face it, back in my time, the model trains were everywhere. Christmas time, you go to the department store, you'd see them there running, and like, oh, I gotta have that. But you don't see that anymore. Where are you gonna go and see a model train running during Christmas time anymore? There's nowhere. Even though Christmas catalogs, when they came out, you would open up the Christmas catalog and see train sets in there and things. So it's not the same as it was. So I think promoting trains through YouTube, from what I'm seeing and hearing, is making a difference. It is making a change. So if you're a club member, or if you're a show manager of some sort, the videos I'm doing are working. People are watching them and they're getting interested. So I'm pretty happy about that. Let's get back onto the subject of people commenting on my videos. So getting back to the subject of people doing or commenting on my stuff in person, I'm not just somebody who sits here and builds a layout and then just shoot the video of it and then post it and then that's it. I'm actually involved into going to train shows and club meets and tours and stuff like that in different places, and I'll bring my camera along and share it with everybody. So that's one thing that I like doing, and hopefully that my interest will pass on to those who are who also get interested into the model trains of some sort or the other, whether it's O gauge or HO or N scale. I mean, I don't care what it is. I enjoy all scales. I've even get a kick out of watching Z-scale go layouts. I mean, how they build a whole empire in a little suitcase. It's crazy. But yeah, it's something to see that the Z-scale trains move around. You wonder how that even, they make, them run on such a tiny little track. But I do enjoy meeting people in person and talking to them, not just being here and doing a review or doing a build and then showing it and then that's it. I like being out there. So that's the difference between me and a lot of other people on YouTube. I just don't sit here and shoot video and do a review and then say that's it and that's all I want to do. No, I want to get involved. I want to talk to people. I want to get out there. So if you see me, say, hey, Dakman, how you doing? Speaking of Dakman, as you're seeing, I got a Dakman Productions shirt on in ash gray. I am pondering the idea of actually selling t-shirts on Facebook. And I'm actually on Facebook. If you can see, Dakman Productions is now on Facebook. But I'm actually thinking about opening up a Facebook store if those are interested in selling t-shirts. Medium to extra large or 2XL would be right around $19. So that's about the best I can do on the price. So that's to help me offset some of the cost of going out there and getting video footage for the YouTube channel that everybody enjoys. Because I'm not going to lie, last year I spent right around $2,500 just going to different trade shows and events to provide everybody with video footage. So I want to try and offset that cost a little bit better, or a little bit more, or hopefully all together. But yeah, so I want to do it through selling t-shirts. Let me know what you think. I'm going to come up with like 3 or 4 different designs of the Dakman Productions t-shirt. One design at a time, maybe offer them in limited production amounts, a little bit at a time. That's my phone going off. A little bit of time to see, if there's people interested or there's people liking it. But buying these t-shirts would help offset my costs, and then you guys would get something in return for helping me out. I think it'd be cool to see people going to training shows and wearing Dakman Productions training shirts. Or t-shirts, not train shirts, but you know what I meant. So, the next thing I wanted to talk about is kind of real. Like I said, welcome to the chaos. What's going on here? Well, I am doing a change out. I am going from 054 to 072 curves. Presently, the only part of Conahay Rail that was 072 is this section here, and back there by the lamp is also 072, and that was it. So I bought these Lionel 86-foot high cube box cars and the Lionel 89-foot auto racks, all scale because this is a high rail layout. But at any rate, Lionel claimed that the 86-foot high cube box cars and the 89-foot auto racks would run on 054. So, going off of that information, I go out and buy a whole bunch of them. And needless to say, when I go to shoot a video, it went horribly wrong. The train basically derailed in every 054 curve that I had on the whole entire layout. So, I had to splice the video, I had to play with it to make it look like it was a successful run, but it definitely was not successful at all. So, in disgust, I packed everything up and put it on the shelves. And basically, the failure is in the design of the kinetic coupler. When it does a full swing to go into 054 curve, there's a piece of it that comes out of place, and when it tries to slide back in to go straight again, it can't. It fetches up and it stays locked in whichever direction it was turned, because there's one piece that's not long enough that fetches up and it sticks up. So you got to take the car off of the track, turn it upside down, push on top of that piece to get it to go back inside again. And anybody who's bought them cars, 4054, knows exactly what I'm talking about. So they are not 054 cars unless you're going to push it by hand one at a time with, single-handedly like this. You're not going to make a successful train out of it. So I had one of two choices. I could sell them back off again, which I know would not happen because anybody who knows these two particular cars, they don't sell well because not everybody can run them, obviously. So I knew I was going to lose my shirt, basically, if I tried to sell them. So the second thing was, okay, let me try and see if I can update my layout to 072, at least on the outer loop, so I can run these things, which would, still cost me money, but not as much as losing money selling what I bought. So I bought the curves, and the biggest challenge was, for those who watch my Kanye Real videos, is horseshoe curve, which is over there by the bank. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I'm sure everybody's watched my Kanye Real videos. Horseshoe curve is 054. There is no way in this world that 072 is fitting in there. And there's not enough room to bring this layout out to put it in there either. So I racked my brain out, and I actually came up with a idea to do a bypass. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but I am actually putting a bypass in right here. And I created, which I have, I'll show you photos or videos of it later, but I created a swing out bridge. So when it's not in use, you can actually swing that section out. So that bypass that I'm creating is only going to be for the larger trains. And when it's not in use, I'll either take it out or swing it out, and horseshoe curve will remain for anything that doesn't need to run on 072. So that was one of the best ideas that I could think of that would work for me, because it would be very rare that I would run anything on here that would require 072, but I would still like to have it and have that option. Maybe one day I'll buy big steam locomotives, I don't know, but I definitely need 072 for the 86-foot high cube boxcar and 89-foot auto rack. And besides that, when I make a train of that, of 18 to 20 cars, you're going to need 072 anyway. You're not getting a train of 20 of those things through a 54 curve. It ain't happening. So, I fell in love with those 86-foot box cars and 89-foot auto racks when I went to an event called the Run for Fun event, which is put on by Henning's Trains, and you go out there with your locomotive, and he provides freight cars for you to run on the layout, which is was created by the North Penn O-Gaugers, and it's a wonderful layout. It's huge. It takes up a lot of room. And if you want to see that layout, the North Penn O-Gaugers layout, just look for my video called Run for Fun. That's also a high rail layout. And when I pulled those box, he had, I forget how many he had, but I'm thinking he had at least 6 or 8 high cubes, and then a few auto racks. And when I pulled that train with my locomotive, I was like, wow, I would love to have that. I would love to pull that same exact train on my layout. And because I just instantly fell in love with that, the way that whole thing, looked. And I actually shot a video of that at a Run for Fun event. It's called Kanye Rail Visits Run for Fun. And you can actually see that video on YouTube as well. and it actually shows my locomotive. I forget what I was running that day. I can't remember if it was an SD60 or my SD70. But at any rate, I was pulling those 86-foot high cubes and 89-foot high racks, and that was it. That was the train I wanted. Um, so I bought the cars. Just haven't been able to run them on my layout, but now I got some free time on my hand, income tax time, and came here, so I'm able to buy some track and do my upgrades that I need to do. Also, one last thing, I'm going to talk about high rail. There's still people out there who don't understand what exactly high rail means. As far as that's an O gauge term. So, what is O gauge high rail? Well, basically, it's all scale trains. All the trains are true 148 scale on a high rail. And because it's O gauge, they still high rail, meaning that the rail is still high, and they have deep flanges on the wheels. Where O scale, the profile of the track is not as high, and the flanges on the wheels are not as deep. So there is a difference between O gauge and O scale, and O scale is also 2 rail, high rail, O gauge is 3 rail. So yeah, it gets a little technical, but that's the difference. And then of course you have your traditional stuff, meaning traditional is anything semi-scale. It's not the scale. That's your MTH Rail King. There's a lot of Lionel that's not 2 scale. It's traditional. They actually Lionel splits their division up or their product line up standard O and O gauge, and now I think they changed that standard O to just O gauge and traditional. So Lionel kind of changed their terminology in the last couple of catalogs I noticed. But before I go, let me know what you think about, I'm only going to offer these in ash gray, but let me know what you think about these t-shirts. Like I said, I got 3 or 4 designs of the Dakman Productions shirts that I want to offer on Facebook, a Facebook store. I'll buy them in limited amounts to see if they're going to sell or not. Also depend on you guys' comments. And it would help me out as far as, getting to the shows and cutting some of the costs down for me as well. Alright, and thanks for watching Dakman Productions Podcast number 2. We'll see you later.